The Lifeguards of Southern California protect over 400 miles of coastline.
It's just really us versus nature.
And nothing impacts their day like the weather.
As lifeguards, the weather dictates the type of day that you're going to have.
Shark sighting, clear the water.
I need to keeping stock and other units.
On these beaches, lifeguards are the first responders.
1, 2, 3, 4. When you get this many people coming to the beach, things are going to happen.
Hey, you all right, buddy? You there?
They are there to save you.
He told me to grab the buoy. He was literally right there.
They are there to lifeguard. Southern California, the birthplace of American surf culture, and home to some of the most iconic surf spots in the world, like Wind and Sea, Huntington Beach Pier, and Black's Beach. But the most famous surf break in the region is 1 mile south of the Newport Beach Pier. Welcome to the Wedge.
The waves at Newport Beach depend on the weather that has occurred over the Pacific Ocean in the last couple days. What makes the Wedge special is the fact that there is a structure that protrudes to the water. When waves come in at a particular angle and hit that jetty, they can make a wave that is bigger than the two just added together.
The fact of the matter is there's no other wave like this in the world. Wedge is a very particular wave and it only exists because of a combination of natural factors and human engineered factors.
Combined with a shallow shore break, this is the most dangerous surf spot around. Today, the Wedge is pumping. 20-foot faces and a strong backwash keep lifeguards on high alert. Only seasoned guards are assigned to the Wedge. Veteran lifeguard Brandon Butler notices a swimmer in trouble 20 yards from shore.
This larger set had just came through, more like 15 to 18 foot faces, and he was kind of in the inside. He started to swim, which actually, hindered him from getting in because once he left his feet, he was getting sucked out.
The backwash rolls the victim in waist-deep water, keeping him off his feet.
Hey, go! Go!
I really didn't have time to think. Here at the Wedge, these rescues and things that happen here happen really fast. And if you don't really know what's going on, it can get disastrous really quick.
The victim is being dragged out toward the impact zone. As Butler approaches, a local body surfer swims over to help.
A lot of water was moving around, so he was getting sucked back into that larger peak.
5343, outside rescues at Wedge.
A Newport Beach rescue boat hears the call and responds from inside the harbor. Piloting the boat is veteran lifeguard Chip Going.
The rescues that we do go on, they're generally the real critical rescues. They truly are the life and death type situations where if we're not there, somebody really might die.
Meanwhile, Butler and the victim are being sucked in the backwash. They're stuck in only 8 feet of water, and the immense surf is threatening to slam them on the bottom.
I got to him and got him away from the peak as fast as I could.
Sea-Watch arrives on the edge of the breakers, but the surf prevents them from getting any closer. 50 yards away from the boat, Butler finds himself staring up at the 18-foot wave.
So once you have someone else's lives in your hand and you have another person on your buoy and you're going up bigger waves like that, it does get, a little more challenging because you're pulling a lot of weight.
Just came off the boat, came to bed
Forward! Hold on, Matt, grab the buoy, go!
He was actually fine. We only let experienced people in the water, but even those experienced people do sometimes get into trouble. So he was fine. He was a little flustered after it, of course. He was in a spot that he didn't think he was going to be in when he got in the water, but he did fine. People do die on days like that, and it can be extremely dangerous here at the Wedge. On days like that, you just need to stay out of the water.
Even after the close call, surfers, boogie boarders, and body surfers continue to challenge the Wedge. But with today's conditions, it's not a matter if someone will get hurt. It's a matter of when.
5323, 40-year-old male with possible dislocated shoulder at the Wedge.
Lifeguards arrive on scene to find the surfer with severe pain in his shoulder.
We sat him down onto the top of the berm, and we treated him right there. We had him hold his shoulder in a position of comfort. We stabilized him and got him out here to the medics.
Did you hit the ground?
Yeah, I just wrenched and it popped, so I think I got my upper humerus.
He was in a substantial amount of pain. He said a 9 out of 10.
Any pain back here?
Can you feel fingers here?
Let's see if I can get a blood pressure through this wetsuit sleeve.
The victim is in need of a higher level of care. Before transporting him to the hospital, medics must splint his arm to prevent further injury.
We're gonna remove this.
We're gonna need support underneath, right?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
This ever happened to you before?
Not even close. If you could put a pillow under my arm.
Okay.
Let me,
Okay, this one under. Okay. We're just gonna try to relieve the pressure.
Yes, sir.
Moving the victim's damaged limb increases his pain. The fear that he might slip into shock is now a reality.
Have you ever had morphine before?
Once, I think, yeah.
I'm just gonna give you 5 milligrams at first.
The morphine quickly kicks in, but the victim's pain remains high.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst pain you've ever felt, where would you say you are right now?
I was at a 9.
You're at a 9, so we've only gone down 1.
So far.
All right.
The surfer is now stable. Lifeguards opt to move him off the beach to the local hospital.
This is really shallow, it's a really dangerous place, and that's the result is we have injuries here routinely. And luckily it wasn't his neck, it was just his shoulder, his dislocation. He'll recover and he'll be back out here.
This is Mission Beach, San Diego, one of the most popular beaches in California. Today, a high-pressure system from the north is creating perfect weather, which is drawing massive crowds.
We're a 24-hour service, 365 days a year, and the one thing that I've noticed is that it's really hard to predict when something's going to happen.
Over 300 lifeguards work during the peak season, responding to ocean rescues, boat rescues, cliff rescues, and medical aids. But sometimes their reach goes even farther.
Codex, they have a codex at El Capitan Reservoir. We've got a ranger on the line, formatting the call.
The urgent call has come from park rangers at El Capitan Reservoir. Located 30 miles inland from San Diego, the popular reservoir includes a lake for fishermen and boaters.
The ranger divers had responded. That is their jurisdiction. They had limited resources, limited personnel, and so they requested mutual aid.
We have one victim, male, 6'0", and Ranger Ignacio said that he had a couple divers in the water.
When we received that initial call, my job is to try to coordinate a response and frankly, to try to give that person on the other end the best chance for survival.
It looks like I'll be the first one in, so it sounds like we're gonna have 2 on scene and 5 San Diego Lifeguard dive team members.
Lifeguard Charlie Knight is on patrol when he hears the call.
It was definitely a call that, as a lifeguard servers, we're not used to receiving. However, we were prepared for it, and I had already worked out there previously as a ranger diver, so I knew the area.
Copter 2, would you be available to provide transport to 2 dive team members and their gear out to El Cap Reservoir?
Affirm. Where would you like to meet, Quivera?
Affirm, we'll have the LZ set up at the turning circle at Quivera.
En route.
Meanwhile, at Lifeguard headquarters, San Diego dive team members prepare for Copter 2's arrival.
We're going to send what we can send, which is 6 divers. We're going to send all their complement of equipment, all the buoys necessary to try to mark specific areas, any underwater investigative equipment we need, and then all of their personal equipment that they need.
Copter 2, this is Lifeguard Dispatch. Do you have an ETA?
Our ultimate objective is to try to get people there quickly and safely, and then attempt to make a recovery where we can try to save that person's life.
Lifeguard Dispatch, Copter 2, landing Quivera.
Dispatch copies, Copter 2.
Lifeguard Lieutenant Nick Lerma and Lifeguard Charlie Knight are en route to El Capitan Reservoir by land.
True copies. We're now back in the aircraft, but you can show us lifting Quivera en route.
In the air, 4 San Diego rescue divers join them in a race against time to find the missing swimmer.
Dispatch from Copter 2, landing at El Cap Reservoir.
The dive team lands, unloads, and prepares their gear.
Grab that bag right there. If you take that tank down, I appreciate it. Down to the dock.
With all resources present, Lieutenant Lerma takes command.
When we first get on scene, there's a flood of people that want to tell us what happened. And in addition to that, because this search area is just so immense, our ultimate objective is where is this person, and let's try to find him quickly and efficiently.
Lieutenant Lerma and representatives from the Park Service and local law enforcement begin to share information.
She did a sweep and then pushing toward the shore. Take a look at the area right through there, and we still haven't located.
In this instance, he learns that 51-year-old Milt Isaac was boating with family and friends when he jumped into the lake for a swim. His fiancée looked away for a moment. When she turned back, he was gone.
Probably gonna need to take her back there, otherwise, just to put her right back on the spot. So we take the witness, we bring her back on our boat, we try to get as much information as possible, we bring her to where she thinks the last location was, and we really try to pinpoint where that person might be. Information is key.
With the man's estimated last location now known, lifeguards can begin their search. This is Huntington State Beach. This 2-mile stretch of sand is often confused with its more famous northern neighbor, Huntington City Beach. However, this popular state park has many of its own unique qualities. While it boasts the same access to swimming, surfing, and sunbathing, it also provides a sanctuary for many species of endangered birds. Lifeguard supervisor Jeff David has been patrolling the waters of Huntington State Beach for over a decade.
My name is Jeff David, and I've been working at Huntington Beach since 2002. I kind of got the public safety emergency response bug when I was younger, and it's kind of hard to get out of your blood once you have it.
Huntington 1075. He's reporting they dropped him off at 6.
You want to take her over there to get her friend? Okay, thanks. I started lifeguarding when I was 18 years old at Folsom Lake up in Sacramento. I kept lifeguarding through college, and then when I got out of college, I went to paramedic school, and I was a paramedic for 4 years.
But something was missing, and that's when Jeff headed back to the beach.
I really like the diversity. I really like how every day is a different day, and that's one of the things that you don't get in a lot of jobs. But in lifeguarding, the conditions are different every day, the crowds are different every day. You show up to work, and you never know what you're going to get.
Like all lifeguards, he's checked the weather before going on duty.
Today, the surf is generated by Hurricane Elena. It's off the coast of Baja California. And this beach faces south, so we're getting all those waves from this hurricane to the south of us.
Over 1,200 miles away, Elena is a Category 1 hurricane with sustained winds of 80 miles per hour.
It's generating a big storm swell. So we're gonna have a lot of water coming on to the beach, and we have a lot of water moving out. So we're gonna have big rip currents today. There's a lot of people here. It's kind of the perfect storm in lifeguarding.
At Tower 4, lifeguard Matt Harrington is also keeping a close eye on the rough surf.
When the rip currents open up, they start really quickly. As soon as you see it begin forming up, you need to get out there, because if you wait to see if it is gonna be a rip current and it is gonna pull people out, you're already way too late and they could be in trouble.
It's not long before Matt spots a group of swimmers caught in a newly formed rip current.
By the time I got to the water, one swimmer had already gotten drug away from the group, and the other 2 were on their way out. The side current was super strong, pulled them along the shore, so it just kept sweeping them down the beach. The current was moving so fast that I had to swim and catch up with the victim.
Jeff David is now at Tower 4 to cover for Harrington. He radios to a rescue boat in case the victim is pulled out any farther.
30-1075. I'm covering Tower 4 right now.
10-4, contact Tower 4.
Meanwhile, lifeguard Harrington is still fighting his way through the crashing surf toward the girl.
It's hard to keep your eye on them because there's so much water moving around, there's so many waves, and especially with a current like this, you're literally sprinting trying for their life.
Now, 50 yards offshore, Matt closes in on the drowning girl. Her head is barely above water.
She was in distress. She was really disoriented. She was very panicked. She was very scared.
In fact, the girl is so disoriented, she's unaware he is a lifeguard.
All she knew is I had something to float on, so she immediately grabbed the buoy. After that, she finally started calming down, that I could talk to her and made sure that she got in safely.
Before I knew it, I was swimming and I couldn't swim. I was scared. I just kept going under because I knew it was pulling me in, but I knew it was already too late. And before I knew it, I couldn't breathe anymore. I mean, when they say you're scared for your life sometimes, I figured that out today.
It's so strong today, I think all of us have underestimated it. The good thing was he got there in time. She was rescued. That's our overall goal. He did exactly what he was trained to do.
Codex, they have a codex at El Capitan Reservoir. We've got a ranger on the line, formatting the call.
A 51-year-old man is missing and is feared drowned in El Capitan Reservoir. San Diego lifeguards have responded to the inland lake to begin a deep water search. If they find him within the golden hour, there's still a chance of resuscitation.
The golden hour is what we give people that submerge underwater. They got 60 minutes, we think, of a viable response that we can give them. That if we do find them within that golden hour, that we can revive them and bring them back to life.
Lifeguard Lieutenant Nick Lerma is incident commander.
When we received that initial call, our ultimate objective is to try to get people there, then attempt to make a recovery where we can try to save that person's life. We employed several different search patterns. One is just a basic line search.
What we have called on the dive team is a San Diego sweep, where we lay a stationary line on the bottom of the lake. It's 100 yards long. So a team of divers then would traverse that in a perpendicular fashion from one end of the line to the other, and then we flip over and we come back on the other side of the line. It's great because you know exactly where you need to go, point A to point B and back again.
The underwater layout of this lake was very challenging. There's rocks, big boulders, there's crevices, there's trees, so it really is challenging, and the divers really had to be careful and wary.
I've dove in that lake before, and I know that the visibility is not good. It's not even half as good as the ocean. It's nearly impossible to see anything. It's extremely murky.
Despite an exhaustive search, divers are unable to find the missing man. As daylight fades, a difficult decision must be made.
We searched for about an hour and a half, and then were inhibited by the lack of light. The sun went down, we were unable to search any longer.
Terminating dive operations for the day, resuming at 0600 tomorrow.
What was a rescue mission has now become a recovery. The 3-day search was conducted by personnel from 10 federal, state, and local agencies. On the third day, divers recovered the body of 51-year-old Milt Eisen.
It's something that we really pride ourselves on, to try to find that person so we can give that person's body back to the family and they can move on with their life. We were happy that we were able to do that.
1 week after the drowning, the victim's family and friends check in with Nick Lerma and the other lifeguards.
I will be forever grateful to the whole team that put in this effort to first try and rescue my brother, and later on, when the hope was out, to find him so that we could have peace.
Fortunately, we're able to see him again, and for lack of better words, pay our respects and enjoy his company one more time.
Milt won't be with us right now if not for them. I am a witness how hard they had worked. They put their lives at risk just to find him, and I know how hard it is for them, and I just, I cannot thank them enough for what they had done for Milt.
The sun is setting on Mission Beach, California, and Sergeant Rick Strobel is making his last patrol.
Mission Beach to 2 Sam. It's going to be a 4-year-old Hispanic male. He had a red ball, last seen 30 minutes ago at the water's edge near Tower 13.
Lifeguard Cortland Carroll is staffing Tower 13.
I had a distressed parent come up to my tower with his daughter. He was Spanish speaking. The first thing you do is, tell the parent that everything's going to be all right, calm him down. Then you have to get his information. You want to know where the kid was last seen.
Tower 13 is known for its deadly rip currents. Strobel confirms a description of 4-year-old Angel and instructs Mission Beach headquarters to make an announcement.
Por favor, contacta la salvavidas más cerca. Gracias.
Meanwhile, there's bad news back at Tower 13. A beachgoer who heard the announcement has found Angel's ball floating at the water's edge.
You know, it was about 7 o'clock when we really started rolling on this. Once you start moving into the darkness, it just elevates it to another level of concern.
Up and down Mission Beach, lifeguards are scanning the sand and the water for any sign of the boy. The San Diego police have joined the search.
Sam from South Mission. We have the Mission Juvenile here at South Mission.
The 4-year-old has spent 45 minutes wandering the beach alone.
I was up in the South Mission Beach lifeguard station. An assistant came downstairs and reported that they had a missing juvenile. He was a little afraid, kind of crying a little bit. His dad raced over and just grabbed him out of the car, didn't even bother opening the door at all, and just drug him out of the car as fast as he could. It felt really good to return a missing juvenile back to his dad.
Estoy muy agradecido con los guardacostas porque me ayudaron a encontrar a mi niño, y mi niña es todo para mí. Thank you.
Always makes you nervous. You don't want to have that one child, the first one that you didn't find.